has committed murder, and the destination wedding is a perfect place to strike again. It sounds so good. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am starting the Lit Lattes YouTube channel, and if you're here from TikTok, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And if you're just finding me on YouTube, I'm also glad you're here. This is my first YouTube channel. I'm really excited to be here, and we're going to be talking about a lot of books. So I hope that you like to read. I hope that you are a thriller or mystery book reader. And if you're not, maybe I can convince you to start reading some. I have a long list of books that I think you'll really, really love. And I'm really excited to also hear some of the mystery and thriller books that you guys are reading, because I can never fill my TBR too full. So I do have my coffee here. Do not be surprised. This will be a regular coffee, not necessarily the mug, although the mug is super cute. Just a simple latte with some cinnamon syrup and oat milk creamer in there. Delicious. If we have not met before and you know nothing about me, let me start off by saying I am Laura, and I live in Midwest Ohio. I am a mom of 2 little ones, and I'm also a full-time working mom. I work out of the home, but beyond all of that and what I do for other people, I love to read. I have always loved reading, even as a child. It's a story that my mom tells so often when we talk about my love of reading, is that I used to beg as a little girl to learn how to read. And of course, when I was younger, no one knew that it would amount to me being so obsessed with books and talking about books and finding new books and authors and recommending books to other people. There is very few feelings that are better than someone telling me they love a book that I recommended. I mean, that is so awesome. I'm sure there's so many people who can relate to that, right? If you recommend a song and they're like, oh my God, that's like my favorite song now. I'm so glad you showed that to me. Or a musical or a TV show, a movie, clothes. I mean, that's a lot of what social media is, right? Of you are looking for recommendations from other people who love this thing. And so if they love it, it's worth you at least trying it. And so that's what we're doing here with Lit Lattes. It is all about books. It is all about coffee, but it's also about the messy in between, right? It's also about the fact that some of you may be in similar situations as me, where you are caretakers, sometimes primary caretakers of people, whether it's children, whether it's a spouse, whether it's parents, or whoever it may be, and you're struggling to find your time for yourself. Maybe you're struggling to find time to exercise or to meet up with friends or to pick up that hobby that you've always wanted to pick up. And this is that space where we can try and find little pieces or pockets of time for you so that you can do that. And I think reading is a really great place to start. One thing I want to clear up here though, we're not shaming anybody about reading, right? Yes, I primarily talk about thrillers and mysteries, and those are the books that I love, but I know that there are people who love reading YA books or romance books or biographies or history, whatever it may be. Reading is reading. And furthermore, we are also not shaming people about how you read. I completely agree that audiobooks count, right? Sometimes the little pocket of time that we as caretakers get is in the car between drop off and going to work, or leaving work and picking up, or going to the grocery store, or running errands, whatever it is. That time in the car is precious. It's probably one of the few times once you drop people off, or, before you are picking people up, that no one's asking anything of you. And so I love using that time to dive into a book, especially a book that has an awesome narrator. It's a blast, and it's a really great opportunity to find some time for yourself and to use reading as that time as well. So audiobooks count in this space, and I don't care what anyone says, they count all the time. Same thing with Kindles and You know, we're going to talk a lot about using your local library, and that not every book that you need to read do you need to purchase, and how to support your local bookstores and indie bookstores and all of that stuff. I have lots of opinions and lots of thoughts, and I hope that they will inspire you to continue reading or begin reading, or you know, start reading again, no matter what that looks like for you. One thing that I find that's really important when it comes to reading for me is modeling that for my children, right? I am as big of a culprit as anybody else of being on my phone too much. And it's actually a goal that I've set for myself for 2026, is to be on my phone less when I'm around the kids, because they're wondering, what's in my phone that's so interesting that I'm always picking it up, or I'm staring at it, or I'm asking for them to give me a minute because I need to finish doing something on my phone. And let's be honest, 90% of the looking at on my phone is not that important, especially not more important than them a lot of the times. And I want to model to them that downtime doesn't just look like being in front of a screen, whether that's the TV or the iPad or my phone, and that there are other ways that we can use our brains. That's a phrase I say a lot in our house, especially when they're asking for screen time, is I'm like, no, we can do other things with our brains, and I need to be modeling that. And so reading is a great way for me to do that. The more that they see me read, the more they may be interested in using their downtime or quiet time for reading as well. We are not a screen-free home. We do screens, so again, no shame there. But again, just finding other ways to use our brains outside of just, you know, using it for a screen. So, you know, that's another reason why reading is so important to me, is yes, for myself and for my own self-care and for my own downtime, but also like, what am I modeling to children? I saw a quote somewhere, maybe it was in a newspaper or something, and it was a mom that was talking to another mom on a subway, and she was inquiring around how she got her kid to read a book on the subway and like be quiet versus, you know, having him be on a screen. And the mom said, you know, the best way to have them do something is by modeling it yourself. And I'm sure I've botched that whole like quote, and I'll try and find it. It's stuck with me ever since I saw that or read that. And I've been trying to kind of incorporate that into my life with reading. And so I'm really excited to start this channel. I love watching BookTube. I love watching other people who are interested in books talk about their books. I love seeing people in a bookstore shopping. I love just seeing the light in people's eyes when they're talking about a book that they love and they're trying so hard not to spoil it. It's just, I don't know, it's really fun for me. And I know a lot of people probably think that's nerdy, and I'm okay to be a little bit nerdy in that area, but I'm just really excited to hopefully, you know, create this community to find my other book people and just really create this space specifically for caretakers or people who just have a really busy life and are struggling to find time for themselves and find time to read. I hope that this space and this channel can be your minute to take a breath and to just remember that if reading is important to you, there are ways that I'm happy to help you find those pockets of time so that you can read. I believe that everyone should be reading in some way, shape, or form. And if I can help someone do that or get back to their love of reading or find a love of reading, I would absolutely love that. So maybe I'm not done talking about books. I have a stack of books right here that I'm really hoping that I can talk to you guys about. These are, I almost can't fit it into the whole frame. These are all the books that I bought in 2025 and have not, let's be honest, a lot of them I have not started. A lot of them I have not started, and I'm hoping to bring these into 2026 and hopefully finish them by the end of the year. This stack of books probably looks like a lot, And honestly, it is. This is probably the most amount of books I've purchased for myself in a really long time. And I just want to say that this does not have to be your reality. For so long, as I've been finding my love of reading again and getting back into reading consistently, I have heavily relied on my local library and my Kindle, so Kindle Unlimited, to be that source of books for me. And yes, I have purchased some of these as I've, went to New York. So I went to the Strand bookstore, or there was a new bookstore opening up in my town, and it's so cute. I can't wait to show you guys. And so of course I wanted to support them. So I bought a few books, and then I recently, actually not recently because we're in January, and so it's almost been a year, but I got a gift card to that same bookstore for my birthday last March. And honestly, I just bought myself 2 books this past week. So like literally almost a year later. So that's kind of why I have this stack of books here. But please know that so many of my books come from the library. I absolutely love the library. I try and go to the library at least once or twice a week by myself with the kids. Whenever I can. I really love that place. So I wanted to share these books with you, of books that I bought in 2025 that I'm bringing into 2026. Okay. So this is in no particular order. Some of them I've kind of started, and some of them I have not started at all. And I want to talk to you about them. So the first one is, okay, well, sorry, before I get to the first book, let me just talk about it. I hate book jackets. Like, I can't. So most of my books don't have jackets, and if they do, they come off pretty quickly once I get them home. So anyways, this doesn't look like much of a cover, and that's because it's not. The book jacket is gone. But it is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. So I have been on an Alice Feeney kick lately. I went through 2 of her other books so fast, and one of her books actually ended up being number 1 on my top reads of 2025. So I have been on an Alice Feeney kick, and I really don't understand why I did not hear about her sooner. Wild. But anyways, so this is what made me pick up the book. Like I said, I had a gift card to a local bookstore, and so I was really excited to pick up this book. I think it's one of her newest releases, Beautiful Ugly. I have gotten into a couple chapters so far, and it already feels like it's going to be a pretty suspenseful book. So I'm excited to read more of this one. Okay, told you. Although this one's pretty cool, right? I like that they did this so that at least if it's on like a bookshelf or whatever, or on a table, it still looks really pretty. But they're Vicious Games. So I am excited to read this one. I saw this book on a shelf, I don't know. And honestly, I wish I mean, this is one of the cases where I guess I wish I had the book jacket, because it was really, really pretty. But this is by Joelle Wellington, and it's kind of a YA thriller mystery book. I'm really excited to read this one. I believe she is a Black author. And of course, whenever I can read a thriller book by a Black author, I absolutely will. So there's that one. The Perfect Nanny. Okay, so this is one that I got when I was in New York, and I went to the Strand bookstore, which is like everything you could possibly imagine if you're a book lover. It was amazing. This is also by a woman of color, and I was a little hesitant to get it because, again, I have 2 young kids, so I'm really careful in that area of books when it comes to thrillers, kind of what I choose to read. I try to not read about anything that is going to create more anxiety for me with my own children. So not a lot about like kidnapping, absolutely nothing about like child abuse. There's only one book that I read that had a little bit to do about something that happened to a child, and it was a tough read from what happened, but most of the book wasn't really about that topic. So anyways, I got this book because it sounded really good, but then I literally started the first page and it said, literally the first words, "The baby is dead." What? Like, yeah, so I don't know. I've gotten to a few pages. I don't know if I'm honestly going to be able to finish this one. I'm going to try, or I might maybe look online and see if, you know, there's a lot of trigger warnings or things like that, but I don't know. It sounded good. I probably should have looked at the first page to see that that's what it said, because that was a surprise. But The Perfect Nanny, it sounds like it's a good book if you're not triggered by those types of topics. The Bridesmaid, I'm excited about this one. This one's by Kate Quinn. I've never heard of Kate Quinn. I've never heard her talked about, you know, on Book Talk, but this one sounds really good. It says, when a celebrity bridesmaid is murdered weeks before an exclusive society wedding, forensic attorney Holly Stone is drafted as an unlikely undercover replacement. As the wedding day gets closer, it seems clear that one of the handpicked bridesmaids has committed murder, and the destination wedding is a perfect place to strike again. It sounds so good. And that cover is beautiful, right? Yeah. Excited about reading that one. A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. So if you have read The Secret Society of Irregular Witches, this is the same author. These books are not connected in any way, but it's just as whimsical and cute and witchy, and the main character in the book is a brown girl. I absolutely loved Irregular Witches, and so I'm really excited to read this. I didn't get to it during my spooky season, but it will be first up this spooky season. My Sister the Serial Killer, I have heard so much about this book, and so I'm really excited to read it. This cover is also amazing. Of course, by a Black author. It's all over my book talk, so I'm excited to read that one. And then You've Been Summoned. Okay, this book is so cool, and I feel like I've stopped reading it because I wasn't figuring out the clues, but this is a book where you're reading the story, but you, the reader, are the detective, and you're trying to piece together the clues of what happened in this mystery. So you're kind of going back and forth between present time and history, and I won't say a ton about all of that, but this is a really cool book if you were a Nancy Drew kid, or if you just love solving mysteries. I recommend picking up this book. It's good, but I'm trying to still like piece together the clues, and I think I just wanted to read and not read to solve a mystery, so that's why I kind of paused this one, but I have not DNF'd it yet. It will get read. So guys, those are the books that I have from 2025 that I'm bringing into 2026. I'm really excited about all of them. Of course, as I read more of them, I will continue to keep you updated and share my book reviews. And if there's anything else you want to see from me or you think would be good for this channel, for this space, with all of the things I've mentioned so far, I would absolutely love for you to leave me a comment down below, and also just say hi. Tell me where you're from. Again, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again real soon.